Welcome to another episode of the PHIner Life Show. I'm your boy, Brother Hush. I already said that twice because really, Steve, Vet Tix, millions of users. I'm talking about service members. We're talking about military spouses. We're talking about veterans. Listen, this is the premier one stop for family entertainment. All right. I have to say, using Vettix, I was able to go to Yankees games. I was able to go to concerts. I saw John Legend and Jason Derulo side by side. We're going to get into that. But Steve, you were in the Corps. And I'm not just talking about the Corps, I'm talking about the Corps. You are a United States Marine Corps veteran, 32 years of service. I mean, let's get right into this interview.
Well, first off, Greg, thank you so much for hosting me and the opportunity to talk about Vet Tix and a little bit about myself. And when we first met in person, we hit it off. Your Army, I'm Marines, and it's that the inter-service rivalry. But I love my Army brethren. I was deployed with the Army, great men and women. And so there's none of that, but it was so great to meet you in person. And yeah, we'll talk more about that and about myself and about Vet Tix. But yeah, I mean, I live in Phoenix, Arizona. That's where Vet Tix is headquartered in Tempe, Arizona, which is Metro Phoenix. And even though we're headquartered in Arizona, we're nationwide. So we're a virtual organization. 95% of what we do is virtual. So to create an account at vettix.org, vettix.org, you sign up, create an account. We verify your status either as a veteran or currently serving member of the military, and that includes Guard and Reserve. It's not just active duty. And you go online, you create your account, get verified, some basic information, and you're off to the races. You get daily emails about events in your area, like Greg said, like you said. I mean, concerts, sporting events. It could be family events, food truck festivals, margarita festivals, anything where there's a ticket involved. We get these tickets donated by donors, and Live Nation Entertainment is our largest donor. They've donated, since we've had a partnership with them, they've donated over 2 million tickets to us. But our donors are organizations like Live Nation, other entertainment organizations, sporting teams, venues. So it could be stadiums, private donors, could be performers, artists, their management companies, and even private donors, season ticket holders that aren't going to use their tickets, or maybe you've got some tickets that you're not going to use and you want to see them go to good use. So that's who our donors consist of. And because we're a nonprofit, we're a 501c3. If you donate your tickets, you get a tax form for the face value of those ticket donations that you can claim as a tax deduction when you do your taxes every year. And therefore, everybody wins. And our motto is give something to those who gave. And why we do this is because we know that when you're in uniform, or you as a veteran, you served your country and you served it, pridefully, and you've missed life events. It could be birthdays, it could be anniversaries, it could be, anything, family reunions, birth of a child, maybe it's the conception of a child. That was a joke. But you miss these life events. And so when we can provide these event tickets as a way to give back and to pay it forward, and for an afternoon, an evening, for a day to go to these events with your friends, with your family, a way to make up for that lost time, to rebuild relationships. And Greg, as you had mentioned, respite. It's a way to decompress. Let's say you had drill weekend and you were just, running and gunning all weekend. And tomorrow night there's XYZ concert, or there's a baseball game or a football game, and you can go and decompress, go with your friends and family as a way to, just make up for that lost time. And again, the cool thing about what we do is you cannot just request one ticket. It's a minimum of 2 tickets, because we don't want people going by themselves. We want them to bring a battle buddy with them. And that's for, hey, to help reduce isolation, things like that, to get them out of the house, and to bring somebody, whether it's a veteran or a service member, or just a companion, or a wingman or something like that. It's to share this experience or these experiences with somebody else. And the cool thing about our process is, a lot of times, most times than not, our donors are donating these tickets in bulk. So they're in the same section, the same row, things like that. So when you're at these events, more than likely, you're sitting with other veterans or service members in that same section. Because we know, like, a lot of times, we as veterans or service members, we don't like being in crowds. We don't like being around other people. And when you're sitting among your tribe of other veterans or service members and their families, it gives you that sense of kind of security. And we get testimonials about these experiences. And a lot of times it's like, hey, I brought my buddy. She doesn't like being in crowds, but we went to this event and we made some new friends. They were fellow soldiers or fellow Army veterans or whatever. So it's, in some ways, it's kind of like a safe space that you can attend these events, have a good time, and have a great experience and make memories.
So yeah, I have to say, you just gave the whole like latter half of the show away, Steve. I know people are just like, okay, gonna turn it off right now. You don't turn this off. No, no, Steve is still with us. He went through the whole Vet Tix process. He's like, I got it out the way. Now I can breathe. Like commanders, command message given. Now let's get to the deep Oprah Winfrey because I like going there, Steve. Yeah. No, listen, you did 32 years in the Corps, man. Oh gosh. That's why we're gonna have to do another show. Okay, so we got the Vet Tix almost out of the way. I want to double back though. I'm not gonna go all the way to the beginning. I'll keep that for the next show that we do. 32 years of service within the United States military. You're the chief strategy officer for one of the largest nonprofit. I would have to say, giving away great stuff. Like you're up there, like it's USO Vet Tix. Like, and Sheila, shout out to Sheila Lennon, over here, out here on the East Coast. I love the USO. They're everywhere. Sheila gets a shout out because she up here in New York. Give her a shout out. But definitely for service members, just what you said, veterans, when we're sitting together and our families are together, and we feel that tribe, and we get that feeling like, wow, I'm with my people and we're enjoying this event together. I have to ask you, from your military experience, what did you carry over from the Marine Corps that helps you as a chief strategy officer for one of the largest nonprofits out there now?
It's a great question. And there's a lot. And for me, I spent 32 years in the Marine Corps, as you had, said, and that's 3 decades. So during that time, I learned a lot. I enlisted, so I started out on the Yellow Footprints. I was an E1. I started out as an E1, and then I became an officer and worked my way up the ranks. And throughout my career I was always learning, either my MOS, but also on larger scales, national military strategy, strategic thinking, things like that. And so a lot of what I brought from the military that I transferred over was the critical thinking skills about problem solving, crisis management, things like that. And a lot of times, whether you were in for 3 years or 30 years, you pick up on these things. And it's not just, your basic MOS, it's interpersonal skills, conflict resolution, conflict management, networking, right? And that's what we're doing right here. We're networking. And again, when you and I met, it was like, boom, like you've got something, I've got something, and how can we make those gears mesh to where it both, not only benefits us, but benefits the organizations and the things that we're doing and we represent. So the biggest thing, probably my biggest takeaway, was those skills and how I can use those to continue to succeed on the outside.
Oh, wow, wow. I told you he's going critical thinking skills. Now, I'm going to go more in depth with that because as a chief strategy, listen, you just throw the title, Steve, like chief strategy officer. And, and, it's kind of like the military. You've got privates, then you've got the specialists, then you keep working your way up until you get to senior and senior non-commissioned officer status, or you become a senior officer yourself. And you just didn't become the chief strategy officer for Vet Tix overnight, and when you and I talked, you climbed the ladder and you had a certain dedication. I really want you to talk about that. Talk about, how did you get involved with Vet Tix? You know, how did you climb the ladder, and how do you maintain the status quo and then some?
Sure. And I mean, how I got involved with Vet Tix was when the organization started in 2008, again, here in Phoenix locally. And they popped up on my radar locally and connected with the founders on Facebook. And one of the founders, we connected. His father was a Marine vet, so we had that basic connection right then and there. And I wanted to learn more about the organization. And I was so interested and so captivated in the mission. I thought it was like so cool. And so we would, communicate, and I would ask him questions about the organization. Again, this was as they were a very small fledgling organization. So, he would ask me, hey, we're, from a growth perspective, can you connect us with, XYZ, and through my contacts and my Rolodex. And at the time I was still, in the Marine Reserves, hadn't retired yet. I retired in 2019. So I was using my connections on, in the military side, the DoD side, but also in the veteran space to help them grow, amplify their message. So we would communicate back and forth, and every couple months we would go to lunch, him and the other founders, and I would ask him questions. Hey, how are you doing this? Why do you do this? And to learn more about the organization. And then there was one of the lunches, they're like, yeah, someday when we bring you on, we're going to do this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I've heard that before. Like it would be cool to work for Vet Tix, but I've heard people say, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And you just don't hold people to that. So then I'm on a drill weekend, or not, I was doing my 2 weeks of annual training. And I get a text message from the CEO and founder, Mike Focaretto, who's a Navy veteran. And he's the genius behind Vet Tix. I mean, just super wickedly smart guy. And so I get a text from him, and he's like, hey, we're looking for a strategy guy. Are you interested? And I was like, okay. I text him like, hey, I'm in, California for the next week, but I'll be back next week, if you want to get together. So we got together. It was real casual. And he's like, hey, we've been kind of, eyeballing you for a while, and we like the way you think, and we want to bring the organization, to the next level, and you're the guy that we know can do that. So it worked out better than I had expected. And fast forward 7-8 years, whatever. Now, I mean, we're our growth has been insane. And you talked about something, Greg, and I'll bring this up. When I first started, shortly after I started, we had hit a milestone of distributing over 3 million tickets. And this was in like 2016. And we were all excited about that. It was like, oh, we've distributed 3 million tickets. Well, fast forward, now we're at 2022, almost 2023, and we're almost at the milestone of distributing 14 million tickets. So back when I first started, we just clipped 3 million. We thought that was amazing. Now, 10 million plus tickets later, this is where we're at. So I thought that was kind of cool when you were mentioning some of this stuff, kind of where, when I started with the organization, where we were and where we are now.
Now, see, you had me like, that's why I was so like, it took me a while to come back. I'm like trying to do the math. That's okay. So you went from 3 million to 14 million. Okay, I can do math. That's 11 million. Divide that. I'm not doing the math. That's a lot, Steve. What do you attribute your success to? How do you become so successful doing this, Steve? There's a form. You have to have a formula. You have to have a formula, Steve. Share the formula.
The formula for my success is you got to be open-minded. And you really have to look at the big picture. And I would always tell my my Marines, I'm like, don't fall in love with your plan, because it's going to have holes in it, things like that. And so for me, going back to the strategic piece of that, the strategic planning, it's like, hey, where do we want to be, or where do I want to be? And some of it is luck, but there's a saying, the whole thing about luck and preparedness when they come together, so on and so forth. So some of my success has been luck, but I've been able to also be prepared and calculate some of these things. So again, it's really have an open mind, and challenging yourself. And it's like, where do you want to be? What do you need to improve yourself on? And that's, we as military and veterans, that's tough for us to self-analyze, because we're superstars, we're bulletproof, we serve our country, or we served our country, we've done some great things, but hey, what are those areas that we can improve on? So for me, it was where do I need to improve myself? And a Marine Corps leadership principle is know yourself and seek self-improvement. And you constantly have to check yourself, do an azimuth check, and see where you are on that, or take that criticism constructively from other people to, and another piece of that is mentorship. I mean, I've had some amazing mentors throughout my personal and professional career in the military, in the private sector, that have really helped me get to where I'm at. So when you can find a mentor, and it can be formal or informal, somebody that has been down the road longer than you, and you can ask them, hey, do you mind if you could be my mentor? And a lot of times they're very flattered for that. And because they're for them, a lot of these cats, they enjoy that, because again, it's paying it forward.
Dropping some jewels, dropping jewels, dropping jewels. So I have to ask you, Steve, I have to say that you have to see a movement. When it involves more than 1 million people, it's a movement. you have to see a movement in the shift of strengthening military families. And that's why you never give out just one ticket. They always come in pairs and more. I like it when you do four or more. You know, you don't, Vet Tix doesn't really do more than four. They usually cap it out of four. But there is sometimes, I'm like calling the whole crew, like, listen, bring the whole squad. Um, Strengthening military families. I just want to get that out the way, because that is something that I think every organization, they strive for. Oh, we're going to strengthen the families. This is what we do, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But you really do it, and you do it at such a large level, millions and millions. Um, where do you gain the ideas on how to implement strategies to effectively reach those military families?
That's, that's an area, again, outreach. It's like who or what organization can I connect with that is engaged with military families, that helps military families, and how can I connect with them and help send the message about Vet Tix as a resource. And that's where our mission is tickets for troops. It's getting donated event tickets and distributing them to military and service members and their families and veterans. And we will never scope creep or mission creep. That's what we do. We don't get involved with other issues that, veterans issues, because we know that there's great organizations out there that are doing that, and we stick to our mission. But that's where we'll connect with other organizations, like with, that support military families. And again, it's an unintended consequence of our mission and what we do by strengthening these bonds for military families and such. And that's where, if you're a military spouse and you're listening to this, or the spouse of a veteran and you're listening to this, your veteran or military spouse is the one that has to sign up and create the account. We verify that veteran or service member. You can sign up on their behalf, but the verification process, we have to use the veteran or the service member to verify. And a lot of times the military spouses or the veteran spouses are the ones that are going into the account and managing it. Because what happens is that when you create an account, there's an alternate email address for that significant other. So that spouse can get the Vet Tix emails directly, manage the account. You share a password, but with your email address, once you input it in the admin section, you can log in using that email address. You share the password, and then you, as that military or veteran spouse, can because we know that a lot of times the spouses are the ones that are running the household. Well, I call them the chief entertainment officers, and because they are the ones that are figuring out the entertainment for the family. What are we doing next weekend, or whatever? So that's where, again, it's like that military or veteran spouse can go in there, put in for the events, so on and so forth. But again, it strengthens the family bonds. And so, yeah, like you said, most times the most tickets you'll see is like 4 tickets. And sometimes it just depends on the number of tickets we get donated. But if you're a family of 5 or more, or whatever, you can you can contact us through our support process. And if you've got a larger family, we can verify that family number, so that's set in your profile. So if the limit is 4 but you've got a family of 6, you put in for that, and our system will know that you're a family of 6, so you're requesting 6. So if you get selected, then you'll get 6 tickets. So that's a way, again, that we support our military and veteran families.
Aha, 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 aha. See, I just dropped that in there because I'm not going to keep you too much longer, Steve. But yes, when you initially sign up for your profile, I have had service members, oh man, I can only get 2 tickets. And I know there was a way that you could get more, and Steve just laid it out for you. So, Steve, before I give you my last 2 questions, let's go to the last, next to the next to the next one. maximizing the Vet Tix experience, and then we'll go more into some more serious stuff. But maximizing the Vet Tix experience, give us 3 tips on how to maximize the Vet Tix experience.
Great question. So again, it's like if you put in for 2 tickets, and because there's only 2 tickets and you get them, you can't get any more, like, because there's a lottery system, and the high demand events go into a lottery. You get randomly selected. But if there's tickets that don't get claimed through that lottery, you'll get an email that says, hey, more tickets are available. They're first come, first serve. So you can put in for more tickets. Like, let's say you've got more family members or something like that. But we can't, like, after those tickets have been assigned, we can't, make it to where we group them together or whatever. What you get is what you get. But to maximize the experience, how you do that is after an event, and you know this, Greg, you'll get an email that says, hey, Greg, hope you enjoyed going to the Yankees game. The tickets were donated by the New York Yankees. If you'd like to submit a testimonial about your experience, click on this link here, and we share it with the donor. So you click on that link, and it says, as a reminder, these tickets were donated by the Yankees. So you go in there, you type in, wow, thanks Vet Tix and the Yankees. My friends and I, we had a great time, whatever. And then you upload the testimonial. And again, we share that with the Yankees. The Yankees see these testimonials. Well, if you're at the event, you take a picture of yourself at the event with your friends. If you're wearing Vet Tix gear, or you have a thanks Vet Tix sign, you upload that photo. We've got virtual appreciation coins. And so those appreciation coins are for the lotteries. Again, we have high demand events. So for every appreciation coin you bid in a lottery event, your name goes in the hat that many times. So if you bid 5 appreciation coins, your name goes in the lottery 5 times. Well, how do you get the coins? Well, when you sign up, you get about 10 coins, 10 or 12 coins automatically. If you get other people to sign up, once they sign up and get verified and they put your name referral code in there, you get 10 coins for everybody that you get to sign up using your referral code. The testimonials, you submit a testimonial, you get 10 coins. If you upload a photo, you get more coins. If you're in that photo, you've got a sign, or you're wearing Vet Tix coins, you get even more coins. Greg, how many coins do you have? Do you know offhand?
Tell you right now, I'm going to embarrass myself, but I'm down to 126.
That's not
Yeah,
bad, and I'm sure you bid
because
coins.
I've been bit. Man, Steve, I mean, like 10. You don't understand, and especially when you see the NBA playoff games, and you'll see, oh, keep going, Steve.
Yeah, yeah.
And the
And
thing is, once you bid those coins, it's like, hey, hey,
well, and the cool thing, as you know, Greg, is that if you don't get selected, you get the coins back. If you get selected, you get an email. And full transparency, there's a delivery fee. For it's free to sign up. There's a delivery fee, and the reason for the delivery fee is skin in the game. You pay a couple bucks for the tickets, and it's never going to be more than $14.97. And that's not per ticket, that's per transaction. And again, that's skin in the game. You spend a couple bucks on some tickets, you're more likely to use them. You get them for free, and then you're like, oh, the neighbors are having a barbecue, we're going to do that instead of go to the Yankee game. So there's skin in the game there. But again, it's like if you bid on the event with your coins, you get selected, you get an email that says, hey, Greg, you've been selected for, XYZ event, pay your delivery fee, and then boom, your tickets get downloaded. And the cool thing is that you never know where the tickets are. So the tickets theoretically could be up in the rafters, or they might be behind the dugout at Yankee Stadium. You don't know where they are until you download the tickets. And again, like you said, NBA playoffs, we had Super Bowl tickets in LA last Super Bowl, could be World Series. So you never know. And again, it's the generosity of our donors. And So there's some cool events out there in your area. And if there's not, just keep an eye out. And if, if you're in an area where there's no events but that, there's teams or whatever that are having these events, go talk to them, find somebody in the, guest relations or whatever and say, hey, how come you don't donate to Vet Tix? And do that as well. And, we've got some great donors, and sometimes it just depends whether they donate or not.
So I'm going to shamelessly just share one of my favorite Vet Tix stories. I was there for the Anthony Joshua Ruiz fight at the Garden, and it was on Vet Tix. And I was just like, it's Anthony Joshua coming to invade. He's coming to the US. Let me just go. And I took everybody, took the whole crew, and got to Madison Square Garden mid-level. I'm like, oh, these are awesome seats. And I literally, thank you, Vet Tix. I saw history. I saw the first ever about to say US, I'm sorry, Mexican uh, heavyweight champion of the world. And I saw Ruiz get knocked down by Anthony Joshua, and he got back up and he knocked him out. And I was just like, wow. And all this just for paying a little delivery. Yeah, it's $14, $14.95. Sorry, just paying the delivery fee. The electronic transaction, because the tickets and most of the events, the tickets go to like your Ticketmaster account. It's easy to get them. I have to say, Vet Tix is a very easy process. Just go, you claim your tickets, get to anyways, people will figure it out. They will go through it. I want to ask you this last question, then I'll let you go, Steve. So really, Vet Tix does it big. USO does it big. Vet Tix does it big. Blue Star Families, they do it big. All these large nonprofits do it big. You have smaller businesses, smaller organizations that they want to contribute to helping military families. From your perspective, what are some things that small organizations can do to support, the military family, the veteran family structure?
That's a great question, because there's organizations that, like, exactly like you said, they want to support the veterans, but they don't know how. But that's where do your research. We're nationwide, okay, and some of our donors, they're going to donate tickets, to events in their local area. But some of these VSOs, these veteran service organizations, are nationwide. So you cut a check to them and you send it to their headquarters, and you don't really know if it's benefiting your local community. And again, so do your homework. If you want it to benefit, if you want your contribution to benefit the veterans in your local community, do the homework and look at some of the VSOs that are either in your local community or that are nationwide that you feel strongly about. But again, there's over, I think there's over like 75,000 VSOs, veteran service organizations, nonprofits in the United States. And so there's mom and pops, there's larger organizations. So again, like, what is it you want to do? Where do you want your money to go? Do you want it to go nationally or locally? And Google these organizations and find out if they're nonprofits, and what their mission is, and testimonials. I mean, have other people had positive experiences in them helping the communities? So do your homework.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That's right. Um, on the way out, I mean, you already gave the Vet Tix website, but this is where, I always say shameless plug. So I'm going to put you in your own box screen, and that lower third is going to drop. Everybody pretty much knows is vettix.org, but give out all the handles. Let's do it officially, Steve.
Yeah, it's vettix.org. If you do vettix.com, you'll find us there also. But if you just Google Vet Tix, VETTIX, And it's .org because we are a nonprofit. We're a 501(c)(3). You can do your homework on us, Charity Navigator. You can look at our testimonials. But yeah, vettix.org. Check us out. Upper right hand corner of the screen there, you'll see create an account. I've talked to people, and it's taken them less than 5 minutes to create an account. It's that quick. It's that easy.
Right, that's right. See, just lower thirds. It was there. And now shameless plug time for us. You all know what I'm gonna say. You all know the website, but if you're just watching this for the first time, I'm gonna put it there. www.mbphings2017.org. That is www.mbpphikings2017.org. Mu Beta Phi Military Fraternity Incorporated. We're doing all these great things. You know, we got the Herculean effort, we've got the Mighty Warrior program, we've got the Liberty Work program, we've got education challenges. We are there to support our local communities, there to support our veteran communities, there to support our military communities. And, you know, definitely Mu Beta Phi, Vet Tix. Yeah, we're going to be linking up very, very soon.
The
Gonna do some
mighty
big
Beta King.
things. That's
Yes.
right, man. See, he said it. I didn't. Steve just laid it out. It's going to happen. But the PHIner Life Show just gives you tidbits, and you have to make sure that you check our social media to see the progress as well. So, Steve, we're going to do your own show about your own Marine Corps history, give all the devil dog tales. We did the official stuff. All right, everybody at Vet Tix is like, woo, Steve, you killed it, nailed it. I'm gonna watch that next show. I really want to see what you're gonna talk about because I know you have some stories, and we've talked. Steve, this is the type of person you would want to just go out and just have a good beverage with, okay? And he has some great tales. 3 decades, and just give the years, Steve. From what year to what year?
Oh boy. I enlisted way back when in 1987. Forever
Until
ago.
until
2019.
so you have to imagine from the late 80s to now, like almost now, that, oh, wow, major historical events. We're talking about Desert Storm. We're talking about Iraqi freedom. We're talking about Afghanistan. We're talking about 9/11. We're talking about, and uh, just you go and listen to the next show. I'm gonna
Well,
be quiet. Go. Yeah,
and when I was a young officer, the Berlin Wall came down in
yeah,
1989.
yeah. See the Berlin Wall. Tune into the next show. All right, everybody, listen to the show. Go on Google, go on Amazon, uh, Apple. We're on everything. We're on iHeart, Spotify, the PHIner Life Show. This is your boy, Brother Hush. Thank you so much, Steve. Tune into the next show, everybody. The next show, when I do it with Steve, is going to be real good. It's going to be real good. You're going to want to tune in. All right, but peace, everybody.